Dr. Russell Blaylock is our guest for another 40 minutes. I'm going to get into Obama's big push to have the youth line up and become his friend and help him. You got Al Gore telling school kids all over the country on tape, don't do what your parents say, global warming's real, work with the government. Van Jones saying, we are going to overthrow America. And they try to hook him up with 9/11 truth. We'll break that down coming up. Dr. Russell Blaylock's our guest. Okay, next segment, I'm going to start going to your phone calls. Dr. Blaylock was just running through some of the total dictatorial blank check takeover, and that's everything Obama's doing is just at our discretion,
Well,
and go ahead.
It's interesting. The other day I was watching TV, and they had one of the leftist politicians saying, oh, there's absolutely no rationing in this bill. Virtually every page is rationing. And the penalties on physicians for just minor misinterpretation of rules or regulations, there's enormous civil penalties. And what we know in national health systems is with time they get further and further in debt. And in order to make up that loss, they start increasing the number of penalties and cutting physician pay. Well, after a while, a physician's pay is going to be so low that he's no longer going to be able to maintain his office, which means they're going to have to sell it to the federal government. The federal government will take over all physicians' offices. Well, this happened where I used to practice in North Carolina, just under the Medicare, Medicaid, and managed care system. I warned the physicians it was coming. They chose not to list it. I left and moved to Mississippi. All of their offices were purchased by the regulatory agencies, and it ruined all of their practices. Well, this is going to be much, much worse. We're going to federalize virtually every segment that has anything to do with health care.
But look at it. The roads are being grabbed. The auto industries are being bankrupted. And the bailout money goes to build the factories in China, Europe, and Brazil. This is corporate receivership where these foreign banks use the government to come in. And now they're even taking over the essential services. This is the total state.
Well, absolutely. Listen to this. This is the rating of physicians. One of the things they want to sell this bill is we're going to give you high-quality health care, and we have built into it quality measures. Well, on page 258, line 13 through 17, on evaluating physicians for quality medical care performance, it says the performance will be based on satisfactory submitting data on the quality measures. In other words, it's not the actual quality that we're measuring. It's how well the physicians do what we tell them in terms of submitting forms and paperwork to the federal government. If you're a good little boy and a good little girl and you submit your paperwork on time and you do all the paperwork they demand, then you're qualified as a very high-quality medical care facility.
Well, sir, I mean, look at government offices falling apart, total lazy bureaucrats everywhere. Now they want to take health care over, and they're going to be raiding people and going after people with political weapons. I mean, this is just an amazing tyranny, and every time I see another piece of it, each piece by itself is enough for a revolution. But you put it all together, it's the thing they have going for them is it's so bold that the government's going to take over and tell you who's good and who isn't. I mean, this is insane. And then I go back to it, Dr. Blaylock, they then lie about it and say they're not doing this.
Well, one of the big things that really got people fired up was the idea of the advanced care planning, is the euphemistic term, which was the death panels, where we have consultation with the elderly and the chronically ill and the disabled to convince them that it'd probably be better if they just moved on into another life and give up their life for the good of the state. Well, if you read this, that's exactly
well, stay there. We got a break. Come back with the death panels. Break it down, then we're going to the calls. Dr. Russell Blaylock, stay with us.